Hey everybody, welcome back to the Junkyard Dog Report. And as you can see here, great game yesterday. I mean, it wasn't great for 3 quarters, but we finished it off strong. So let's get right into it. Let's get to the bad stuff because, for the first 3 quarters, the Pacers scored over 30 points in all 3 quarters. We looked like we were back on our heels. So let's pull up some highlights and get into it. So we're going to start off here. A silly turnover while they're trying to make the right play. Buddy Hield takes it down the court. Easy layup, fast break opportunity. Then over here, Tyrese Halliburton, like he was all game, getting into the paint very easily, drawing our big off of him and dishing to another man for an easy bucket. Benedict Mathurin, credit to him, rookie, was playing out of his mind, and one play for him here. He was getting easily to the rim all game, as you can see in another highlight right here where he cuts to the rim very well off this. That's the same play again. Sorry about that. This is my first time using highlights, so credit to Ben. I mean, I wanted him in the draft. Here's TJ McConnell cutting the rim very easily, kind of like what Tyrese was doing, drawing our big off of his guy, getting him wide open, and getting an easy bucket. Here's Tyrese doing that same thing to Miles Turner, getting him a nice, easy little turnaround, getting Jarrett off of him for just long enough for him to be able to get that bucket. Here's Kevin Love trying to do the right thing. He gets stolen by Isaiah Jackson. They get an easy, fast break. Well, not easy, but look at how Tyrese makes that great no-look pass. And Kevin Love is not the best paint defender, so that was definitely rough. Here we are in the third quarter. Tyrese Halliburton again cutting to the paint very easily, finding a big man. That's Isaiah Jackson. So, I mean, this is definitely something that was killing us a lot in the first 3 quarters specifically. There are also some plays here from the fourth quarter that you'll see again later when I go over the entire fourth quarter. Here's TJ McConnell cutting to the rim very easily. And like I said earlier, Kevin Love, not exactly the best paint defender. There's Isaiah Jackson off a lob from TJ McConnell. And I believe that's it. So, I mean, definitely a rough first 3 quarters for us, right? The Pacers scored 31 in the first, 30 in the second, and 33 in the third. And that's just unacceptable. Like I've said this before, we're the first-ranked defense in the NBA. We shouldn't be allowing 30 points in any quarter against any team. I know it's going to happen every once in a while. It's an 82-game season. These things happen. But in the same breath, like, I just don't want to see these things. And it wasn't all bad through those first 3 quarters because, right, we were scoring. Like, we were back on our heels defensively. They were getting into the paint very easily. They were taking whatever turnovers we did give them and turning them into fast break opportunities. So, I mean, we also had some good plays in there, but I just want to point out a couple statistics here real quick before we get into those plays. With 6.5 left in the third quarter, the Pacers were beating us in the paint 40-24. Unacceptable, especially at home, the way we play. And our identity defensively, as you all know, lies in the paint. So we definitely need to protect the paint better than that. I mean, we allowed 3 straight 30-point quarters. And not only that, the Pacers were last in the league in first and third quarter scoring. And they scored over 30 points in those quarters in this game, like I just said. So that definitely wasn't good. So let's just get into what was good because, we just ate our green beans, our artichoke, whatever. Let's go eat our cupcake or whatever we have after dinner. Here's some good plays, right? This is one of my favorite plays of this game. So let me go through the whole thing. I have it written here. Donovan Mitchell passed to Jarrett Allen. I'm going to close this so I can go through that play. Donovan Mitchell passed to Jarrett Allen, who passed back to Darius Garland, who then found Donovan Mitchell wide open for a 3. And I'm sorry for stopping that video because it's going to have to restart again. But, I mean, this play was just fantastic in terms of ball movement. We got them blitzing Darius Garland to the point where we got Donovan Mitchell a wide open 3, which is always great. Here's Evan Mobley looking like Giannis with a nice little Euro step, which is awesome. Kevin Love, a turnaround fader, which he's really good at. Wish we'd see a little bit more of that from him. LeVert with a great pass to Love underneath where he finds it and puts it in. And then here's Donovan Mitchell doing his thing, a little step back 3, shake and bake. And I mean, he should be in the MVP conversation right now, if you ask me. And look at him, finding some space, getting open, swoosh, nothing but net. TJ McConnell can't do anything about that. Here's Darius Garland doing something he was doing all day, drawing defenders inside while finding Cedi Osman on the outside for 3. DG did that, helped him get back to his game. Cedi Osman with a great steal here, and when Cedi puts his head down, good things happen. Finds his way to the rim, gets an easy basket. Slap that ass. Oh, yeah. Here's Jetty with another steal. And just like before, finding his way down the court, finding Jared Allen with Tyrese Halliburton on him. And what's Tyrese going to do? Just bully him inside, get the easy dunk, go work, high five. Bam, out to Okoro. Oh, what's he going to do? He's stuck here on Miles Turner. Oh, man, he's stuck. Just kidding. Bucket. I actually really like this play from Okoro. Just the ballsiness to go at a guy who gets blocks at the rate that Miles Turner does. Here's Darius Garland. A little shake and bake. Give and go. Pass back to Donovan Mitchell, who's on fire. Flamethrower, shoots again. Swoosh, nothing but net. He's 8 for 15 from 3 in this game. He's absolutely fantastic. Here's another one of those 8 for 3s. Bang. Mike Breen never gives us those calls, so I'll do my own. Bang. And here we go. Darius Garland, a little shake and bake. Bang. But something that was I had to do for this, as you can probably tell, as I screen recorded this. I didn't get this myself. So there's a nice dish. Well, like I said earlier, Darius Garland cutting inside, finding the open man, drawing the paint defenders to him. Here's Karis LeVert at the end of the third quarter. And this is when the Pacers had their largest lead of the game at that time at 13. The last play of the third quarter for us, Karis LeVert drives inside, gets a nice bucket. Definitely great to see. I mean, Karis LeVert has definitely stepped up in the last 5 games. He's been over double digits. He had 22, 22, 23, 12, and now 11 in this game. So definitely great to see from LeVert, the way he's playing. And like I said, we did score in the first 3 quarters. So let's go over the scores of the first 3 quarters, right? The Pacers beat us in the first quarter 31-29. And the second, they beat us 30-25. And the third, they beat us 33-29. And, I mean, our numbers in those quarters are not bad in terms of scoring. It's just the defensive numbers that are bad for us. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to go into that fourth quarter where, I mean, the fourth quarter was crazy for us. To play the way we did the first 3 quarters and then have what happened in the fourth happen, I mean, I'll show this first because this is what I feel like really sparked it. Here's the play where Donovan Mitchell and Benedict Mathurin get tangled up. They're fighting for the ball, and Donovan is refusing to let go of that ball. He's not going to let Benedict Mathurin get away from this play with this ball the way he's been talking. Like, the Pacers were talking trash, and rightfully so. You're going to score 30 points in every quarter against the team with the best defense in the NBA. You have the right to talk trash, in my opinion. I mean, the thing is that if you're going to talk trash, you have to back it up, especially if you're on someone else's floor. And we weren't going to allow them to talk trash and get away with it. Even Jetty Osman said it himself, them coming to our place and talking trash, it's hard to get away with that. So how did our team respond? Now, notice that the time that happened is around 10:20. The highlights I'm about to show are all from the fourth quarter. Some you saw before in the miscues where, like, TJ McConnell got that alley-oop to Isaiah Jackson. And so you're going to see a couple of those, but just pay attention to when the clock hits around 10:20 because that's about the time where that tie-up happened, and that's what really got our guys going and got them, fired up and more physical. So here we go. Start right into it. Like I said earlier, Darius Garland all game, specifically in the second half, cutting to the rim, drawing the defenders to him and finding the open man and Jetty Osman. And here's that alley-oop to Isaiah Jackson I was just talking about from TJ McConnell. Here is another play from the Pacers where TJ McConnell is going to dish to Aaron Nesmith, who's wide open for 3. And even Don talked about this. He was a little bit lazy on some plays closing out, and he had to lock in on that side first. Here's DG cutting to the rim again, but this time he gets his man on skates, gets him to jump, give him that little step forward, and puts it in. Here's Darius Garland on TJ McConnell. And here, this is exactly what I'm talking about. There's a couple plays in this fourth that look just like the first 3 quarters until we locked in. TJ McConnell getting an easy floater. Here's DG to Jared Allen. He passes back to Donovan Mitchell, who just cuts to the rim and does what he does best, puts the ball in the basket. And here we go. We got LeVert taking it up. Cuts straight to the rim, hits Ev. Ev back to Donovan Mitchell, and bang, 3. And you get all that attention in the paint with those 2 guys in LeVert and Evan Mobley passing to each other, which leaves Donovan Mitchell wide open outside. Here are the Pacers with the ball. Here's Benedict Mathurin trying to get a 3. And Donovan Mitchell said himself, He had a lot of respect for how Ben played this game, having the confidence to shoot those threes in such high-pressure situations. Here's Donovan Mitchell cutting to the rim with a little acrobatic move to put it in, which is something like only he can do compared to other guys in the league. There's not many who can do that. There's Tyrese Halliburton doing what he was doing best all day, getting to the paint on us, and then finding Aaron Nesmith for an easy layup after drawing the attention of the paint. Here's Darius Garland doing that exact same thing, except he's kicking it out to a corner three for Evan Mobley, who's been very clutch with threes lately, right? Against Detroit, against, I don't remember the other team. There's Donovan Mitchell, one of his other 8 threes. But Evan Mobley's had 3 clutch threes like the one we just saw in recent memory. Here's Donovan Mitchell to Karis LeVert. LeVert's going to drive to the rim and put up a nice floater to take a 114-110 lead with 3 minutes left. But if Evan Mobley can continue to up that three-point shot and get that going, I mean, it's just going to be fantastic. And, you know, they dribble it out, obviously. I was ignoring that because I thought it was going to end faster than that. But those are the highlights from that game. And, I mean, when you play like we did for the first 3 quarters, I mean, you just got to love the way we responded. And I'm going to show this clip again because this was, well, I have to put this up. This was definitely something I loved for sure. I mean, oh, it's not showing up because it's underneath, I guess. And I guess it's the VIA stuff is underneath as well. But, I mean, Donovan Mitchell, he said it himself, so we might as well segue into some quotes here. Let me pull up the quotes thing and close this. What JB had to say about that play exactly was, you know, you don't poke the bear, and they poked him. And, you know, he went on and did what he did, but it got everybody going. And everybody definitely did get going after that. There are definitely some defensive lapses, as you saw when I went over the fourth quarter. But at the same time, I mean, like, Donovan Mitchell was refusing to lose that ball. Like, he was refusing to let Benedict Mathurin take that ball. And if you've ever heard Benedict talk, like, I love that guy. I wanted us to take him if he, by the grace of God, he was going to somehow drop to 14. I wanted him in the draft. But he is a very, I don't want to say arrogant. He's a very confident player. And he said it himself that LeBron James was going to have to prove to him that he was better than him. So Ben is definitely a guy who's willing to talk, even to a guy like Donovan Mitchell. And so the fact that Don was just in there showing him like, nah, I'm not going to let you not only talk to me like that, but I'm not going to let you talk to me like that on our floor against our team like that. And it gave the whole team a boost. Because, like, you think about it, we just played the Mavs a couple days ago. We fly back home. They don't come home until like 4 a.m. And if you've ever messed up your sleep schedule and like one night you just sleep at a really late time, it doesn't really mess you up the next day. It's really the day afterwards. It's kind of like jet lag where it screws you up. And that's kind of where we were until they gave us that boost to absolutely take over the fourth quarter. And we dropped a cavalanche on them in that fourth quarter. We ended the fourth. I should have said this earlier. We ended the fourth on a 28-9 run. And that 28-9 run included 2 different 13-2 runs. So there was a 26-4 run in there. And, I mean, I guess they got a little 5-2 run too. Woohoo, good for them. But we won the fourth quarter 35-18. Donovan Mitchell had 18 fourth quarter points, which, I mean, he deserves to be up after doing that. So we'll pull him up, even though it's going to cover the quotes. We're going to continue with the quotes and stick with the same thing. They asked Donovan Mitchell exactly what they asked JB about the Benedict Mathurin tie-up. And what he had to say about that was, I think for me, just trying to set that tone that we're just not going to back down. And, you know, that's really all that was. And that really not only juiced him, but like it juiced the entire team. It gave them all some juice. Like even Darius Garland. What Darius Garland had to say about that was it added a lot. I mean, that's just our fight. And I know Don was not going to let that ball go. So when we saw that, we was like, okay, we got to turn up the physicality. And they definitely did turn up the physicality. That's how we were able to take over that game, right? Because before that, we were on our heels. We were getting beat inside. We looked soft, to be honest. Like, I know it was a close game at half and even after the third quarter, but it just Something felt off through 3 quarters. And even when I was sitting here watching the game and that tie-up happened, even I was screaming at the screen like, yeah, you done. I said, what did I say? I said, you done fucked with the wrong one. That's what I said, because Donovan Mitchell's not a guy you want to play with. That's not a bear you want to poke. He takes his game to another level when he is challenged. So that's something Benedict Mathurin has to learn. Hopefully he does for his sake, because, until he gets to the level that he can get to, because he does have a lot of potential for those who don't know. So until he gets to that level, he needs to, tone it down a little bit. But I think he's going to be a special player one day. We'll see. I'm going to move on from Benedict Mathurin. Let's move on to Darius Garland, who I think was fantastic in this game. That was definitely something I loved. It looked like he was playing like himself again. And he looked like I just said, he looked like Darius Garland. Like he was a pass-first point guard. That's been his problem all year. He's had long stretches where he's tried to be a shoot-first point guard, and we need him to be a pass-first point guard and orchestrate this offense. So what JB had to say about Darius Garland was, Darius had a hell of a game. We don't win this game without Darius. And something that Darius was doing, exactly like what Tyrese Halliburton was doing, was he was getting to the paint, finding the open guy off of that, and that was leading to buckets. Like you saw it when I showed the highlights of this game. Darius Garland was doing a great job getting inside or just moving the defense to his liking. Like when he found Cedi Osman outside for that corner three, he moved the defense in with him. He had 3 guys collapse on him, found Cedi wide open for a 3, and he looks like a quarterback when he's doing it, because he moves them with his eyes and the ball. Like he'll hold the ball here even though he wants to pass it over there. So that was great to see. For those of you wondering what was going on with Cedi Osman in the last game, I was one of you, because he didn't play against the Mavs. And what I said in my last video is maybe JB was worried that Dorian Finney-Smith would completely negate Cedi Osman's scoring. And Cedi was the worst defender out of the 3 or 4 when it comes to LeVert, Okoro, Lamar Stevens, and him. He's the worst defender. So I thought that might be a reason, and apparently, it was. I believe so, based on what JB said. JB said it was nothing that he did that he didn't play last game. They were just, I thought it was a matchup thing that we were trying to do, but it had absolutely nothing to do with his play. And it's surprising to see a guy who, in my opinion, has been our 6th man this year. LeVert is definitely stepping into that role. Maybe he's trying to take it from Cedi. But Cedi Osman has definitely been our top man off the bench so far this season. So that was definitely surprising. And, I don't think it's a big deal. But, JB's going to run this lineup how he's going to run it. He's the head coach. So I'm not going to complain. I believe in JB. Moving on. They asked JB because there are a lot of, early season awards being talked about at this point, and Donovan Mitchell is not being mentioned enough. So they asked JB what he thought about it, and if Donovan should be in these discussions for MVP, and he said, I don't think there's any doubt about it. And I agree with him. He's been a great leader for this team, a great spark offensively, and he stepped up his defensive game, taking it to another level, way better defensively than he was in Utah. So moving on. What Donovan Mitchell had to say about the fourth quarter versus the other quarters in this game, he said, we're doing everything we didn't do for 2.5, 3.5 quarters. That was it. And like I said earlier, it wasn't like we weren't scoring in those other quarters. It was the defense, playing on our heels, playing back. I should have pointed this out in the video, but there were guys who were getting beat, and then they stayed beat. They would stay and watch the play. And, Jared Allen can't take 2 guys by himself. So that was definitely rough. But, we got it together, obviously. And if you guys remember, there was one play in that game, and I think they showed it. I'm not sure if it was shown in the highlights. But Donovan Mitchell, did a couple jab steps, boom, 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 raised up, launched a 3, and swished it. So when they asked him about that play, he said, the fact that I can drive, just a simple jab gets guys to react. And finding ways to create that separation and get a shot off. And, I can't blame anyone in the NBA for backing off Donovan Mitchell when he takes a jab step. That's one of the fastest men in the league. He's got crazy burst, a crazy first step. You don't want to get lacking on him. So definitely a great tool for him. He also he used to do this like peace drill, the peace sign, how it's like, it's like this. So it's like 1, 2, 3. So he used to do this drill where he would pivot, like his pivot foot would start here, then you go here, and then like around and around and around, practicing the pivot and the jab with Quinn Snyder and his other coaches in Utah at the time. So that's how he got so good at that. Moving on, what DG had to say about what the Cavs did in the fourth quarter rather than the other quarters. He said, "We turned up our aggressiveness on defense, started getting to the ball a lot more, started contesting a lot more shots, and then we was being aggressive on offense as well." And it's absolutely true. That's exactly how we won this game, being more aggressive and all those things. And for those of you who watch every game like I do, you know that Darius Garland is not a guy who the refs favor with their whistle, which is surprising considering his size. So when he was asked about getting those calls and being 8 for 8 from the free throw line last night, Darius Garland said, "Boy, oh boy, thank you. It was a great night, though. I give all the praise to God on that one," which is definitely something I love. It was definitely a funny press conference moment. Also, something that I agree with because we do not get enough calls, in my opinion. And like I've said before, I don't like talking about the refs here because, they operate in a certain way, and it's up to us to win games. You can't just blame the refs for everything, but that was definitely funny. So moving on to the stats of this game. The Big Four had 84 points, 41 from Donovan Mitchell, who had 18 fourth quarter points, 20 from Darius Garland, and 16 from Evan Mobley. It was a rough night for Jared Allen, who specifically looked lethargic in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but he only had 7 points, so that was a rough night for him. The rest had 34, and most of that came from Cedi Osman and Karis LeVert. Cedi Osman had 14, and Karis LeVert had 12. Those two guys are looking to be pivotal on our bench moving forward the way they've been playing lately, specifically for Karis LeVert. Cedi's been playing this way all year. Moving on, the Big Four had 21 rebounds, 9 from Evan Mobley, 6 from Darius Garland, 5 from Jared Allen, and I believe another one from Donovan Mitchell. The rest had 13, 6 of those coming from Karis LeVert, who, as I just said, has been playing great lately. For the assists, our Big Four had 17, 10 from Darius Garland, 3 from Donovan Mitchell, and 2 apiece from Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. Now, would I like to see more assists from Donovan Mitchell? Sure. But if he's going to score 41 points, he can have 3 assists. That's absolutely fine by me. The only time I'm really going to have a problem with Donovan Mitchell in terms of assists is when it's 1 or 2, because he is a better playmaker than that. So definitely good to have him above that. The rest only had 6. 4 of those came from Karis LeVert and Cedi Osman, who had 2 apiece, and the other 2 came from Lamar Stevens and Kevin Love. Moving on, for the steals, 3 for the Big Four, 2 from Darius Garland, 1 from Donovan Mitchell, 3 as well from the rest, 2 from Isaac Okoro, and 1 from Cedi Osman, which is surprising. I feel like they got those stats wrong because even when I showed those highlights, like Cedi had 2 different steals in there. I don't know how that works. This is just according to the NBA's website, so I'm going off of what they give me. I don't know what to tell you guys. For blocks, Evan Mobley had 2, and that was it. Jared Allen also had 1, but they called a foul on it. I counted it as a block. I couldn't find the highlight to show you guys, but looked like a block to me. We were fantastic with turnovers in this game. We only had 8 total. The Big Four had 6, and 3 were Darius Garland, 2 Donovan Mitchell, 1 Evan Mobley, which I can't complain about. If you're going to have 10 assists, 3 turnovers is nothing. If you're going to have 41 points, then 2 turnovers is nothing. And Evan Mobley was playing great all game. I'm not even sure that turnover was his. Actually, it probably was. But moving on, the rest had 2, 1 for Lamar Stevens and 1 for Kevin Love. Now, this game was definitely dominated statistically by our Big Four, right? They won every single one other than steals, where it was a tie, other than turnovers, actually. The rest won turnovers, but the rest is usually going to win turnovers because they don't have their hands on the ball as much. And I basically cut out the plus-minus section. I'm just going to, from now on, just name the guy who had the highest plus-minus on the team. And for this game, it was Karis LeVert, who's plus 17 in 26 minutes and 6 seconds. So shout out to Karis LeVert, who, as I said before, has been stepping up big time. Definitely looks like he's trying to steal that six-man job from Jetty Osman. And for the game, we shot 50% from the field, 38 for 76. We shot 45.2% from three, 14 for 31, and 87.5% from the free throw line, which was 28 for 32. All those numbers are fantastic. Like I always say in every video when I go over those statistics, like keep it over 50% for the field goal percentage, keep it over 40% for the 3-point field goal percentage, and keep it above 80 for the free throw percentage. And we passed all those with flying colors. I think the best thing specifically is that Jared Allen and Evan Mobley were both 3 for 4 from the free throw line when in other situations they were struggling a little bit. So I believe that's it for this time, but we got a game tonight against the Mavericks that we can hopefully pull out and sweep them. But until next time, keep scrapping like a bunch of junkyard dogs. Hoo, hoo, hoo.